Welcome back to AM Northwest. A catastrophic and almost fatal spinal cord injury changed his world forever. Now he's rewriting the rule book on what's possible. The new documentary, The Mountain Within Me, follows former rugby star Ed Jackson on his journey to create a new future for himself and others.
They're saying the pendulum always swings. So it's not just that you'll get through it. Actually, it will go back positive again as well. And it's just having that faith, right? When it goes negative, you can do something about it, but just always have the faith that it'll come back the other way. Cool people are people who completely own who they are. And whether that is you love dry stone walls or Warhammer, understand who you are, what you enjoy, and then don't be embarrassed by that. Own it. You are capable of way more than you think. You know, we're too quick to be put into pigeonholes by society, by our friends, by ourselves. But getting outside of that comfort zone, that's where the fun stuff is and the growth is.
We welcome the star of The Mountain Within Me, Ed Jackson. Ed, how you doing this morning?
I'm very well, thanks. Great to be on the show.
Let's start with how the documentary actually starts. You're this extremely physical man, a professional rugby player, and then an accident happens at a swimming pool. Tell me what happens.
Yeah, so I played professional rugby for 10 years, and then in April 2017, I was going for a cool-off, the first hot day of the year, and unfortunately, I dived into a waterfall at the end of a feature sort of swimming pool, thinking it was deep, and it wasn't. It was 3 feet deep. So I suffered a very serious spinal cord injury and was rendered completely paralyzed from the shoulders down.
And when you're in the hospital realizing that this is my fate, at what point do you say to yourself, I'm not going to accept this? And how'd you come to that thought?
Funnily enough, I came to that thought when I was told that that was the case. So after 7 days of tests, they told me I had a complete injury and I wouldn't be walking again. And I just remember thinking, okay, they've verbalized what we were worrying about, but they've drawn a line in the sand, something to work from. And I didn't, if I'm honest, I didn't expect to be back on my feet, but I knew that what I was going to do is put all the effort I can into trying to move something so that whatever does happen, I know that it wasn't down to a lack of effort from me. So we were heading into the unknown. I'm just very fortunate that 36 hours after being told that, my toe flicked. 4 months later, I stood for the first time, and 12 months after that, I climbed the highest mountain in Wales. So I didn't expect to get as far as I have, but I'm very grateful for where I am today.
And you had a lot of support. You had a lot of support in your family, especially your wife, Lois. Tell me about that connection, because I think it seemed to me that you felt like, oh my gosh, I'm not a man anymore. Here I've lost everything, and she's married to me, and she was feeling isolated herself.
Yeah, I mean, Lois was my rock throughout the whole thing. We were engaged beforehand. My identity was wrapped up in being a man and being a rugby player, playing a big physical sport, and all of a sudden I've lost all of that. And I felt very guilty. I said she should leave me, and she stood by me. She told me to shut up and carry on, which of course is what I wanted her to say, which is quite rude. Yeah, which is, I'm very grateful for. But she also, along with the rest of my family and my friendship network, they gave me something to get better for. You know, this wasn't just me defying the odds. This was my support network as well, helping me through it. And, you know, I take that for granted. I took the fact that I had a strong family and friendship group for granted, but I was on a spinal injury unit with people who didn't have any visitors for 3 months. So it's something I feel very grateful for and something I'd never take for granted again.
So you attack mountains, and you attack them with you started a charity, and the idea is to get people out and walking and define what they've been told their abilities are, as we saw in the clip. Tell me more, because you're still dealing with, with injuries, and you also connect with a former paratrooper, Ben, and you guys really make a difference in people's lives. Tell me about that journey.
Yeah, so, I mean, I still live with a spinal cord injury. I'm what's known as a walking quadriplegic. So my left side doesn't function properly in terms of motor skills. My right side don't have normal sensation in it. But what I realized through this process of recovery and finding the mountains was that my support network was making a massive difference, but so was being outdoors and nature and challenging myself. And I wanted to pay that forward to other people. So we now support, the charity's been established for 5 years called Millimeters to Mountains. We now support other people who are going through trauma, physical or psychological trauma, take them on adventures all around the world, and then enter them into a 3-year development program. And Ben was one of those beneficiaries. He was a paratrooper in the British Army, and he broke his neck. Sorry, he broke his back. He hit the ground at 70 miles an hour and his parachute didn't open. And I saw a lot of me in him, but he was earlier on in his journey. So we went to climb this mountain together in Nepal, and that forms a big part of the documentary.
And what does it mean to you to make such a difference in other people's lives, not just Ben, but others?
I mean, it means everything. I just can't believe I'm in a position to do that. So many people helped me and inspired me through my own recovery. To be able to now pay that forward through the charity, through the film, through the mentoring that I do, is a very humbling position to be in. And I feel more purpose in my life now than I ever have done. And that's saying something, because I was doing what I dreamt of doing as a boy when I was playing professional rugby. So yeah, it just shows the power of helping others. And if you can genuinely have a positive impact on other people's lives, it's an amazing, amazing feeling.
What's the takeaway that you want viewers to have from watching The Mountain Within Me?
I think that's one of them. I think kindness and supporting others, like the impact of that, not just for them, but for you. But also that we put most of our limitations on ourselves. Most of our limitations are imagined, you know. Follow your dreams, have the confidence to go for it, because nothing that I'm doing now I ever imagined I would be doing. So there's lots of messages in there. There's lots of things that people would be able to relate to. You just spoke about my relationship with Lois. We touch on that as well, more in depth, and the things that aren't really spoken about much when going through trauma.
Yes.
So I'm just hoping it can help people, you know.
Yeah, it's an incredible film, and I love the scenes with your wife, Lois. It's really powerful. We want to tell everyone The Mountain Within Me will be available to rent or own on digital on Tuesday. Thank you so much, Ed. Appreciate it. Thanks for all you do.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. We'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.